From Illinois Public Media, this is an Election 2024 update. I'm Brian Mackey. Throughout the rest of the evening, we'll be sharing results from notable campaigns around Illinois at 15 minutes past the hour. We'll also hear from some of the Illinois-based public radio reporters keeping track of the night's big races. The polls closed across Illinois 15 minutes ago, but voters who were in line by 7 p.m. will still be able to vote. There have been very few reports of voting incidents or irregularities today in Illinois. A Champaign County vendor had technical issues that held up voting for about 2 hours this morning, but those were resolved. Beyond that, this is a relatively quiet election night in Illinois. Both of our U.S. senators are in the middle of their 6-year terms. There are no statewide offices up for re-election. And the 3 issue-based questions on the ballot this year are non-binding, meaning that the results will not necessarily lead to change. All 17 members of Illinois' congressional delegation are up for re-election this year. No surprise that Congresswoman Mary Miller and Congressman Darren LaHood, their races were already called. They did not have opponents. In fact, only one race was projected to be a closer call, the 17th District, which is a giant C that starts in Rockford, heads west to the Quad Cities, south through Macomb, back east to Peoria, and Bloomington-Normal. In that district, first-term Democratic Representative Eric Sorensen is being challenged by Republican Joseph McGraw. Joining me now to talk about that is Alex Degman, State House reporter for public radio stations across Illinois. He's joining us from Rockford at the watch party for Joe McGraw. Alex, welcome. What are you seeing there?
Hey, Brian. Well, it has been pretty festive, I would assume, for a couple of hours here. We're at Francesco's Ristorante, which is on Rockford's east side. And people have been here for a little while. They're dining, they're drinking, they're laughing. We've got a lot of festive balloons that say Judge Joe McGraw on them, and we've got a lot of signage, and people don't really seem to be going anywhere. Of course, we're still waiting for the man of the hour, Judge Joe McGraw, who has been out campaigning in really the Rockford area today. He has made a few stops at some polling places, and the reason that he's still hitting the ground because there is still a chance for him to pull this out. Recent polling shows that Eric Sorensen, the incumbent Democrat, is leading by a few points outside the margin of error, but this is the most competitive congressional race in Illinois. And Republicans who are trying to maintain their majority in the U.S. Congress, they would really like to see this seat as a pickup.
What are the major issues driving this race on a local level? Obviously, it has important stakes nationally, but what have been the local issues?
Well, they're trying to focus as much as they can on how the national issues are affecting affecting local folks. For example, a lot of people have been hitting on the economy. Of course, that is a national talking point. But when they get closer to home, Judge McGraw has been talking about how inflation has been making it really hard for farmers to get things into the ground. Obviously, you mentioned the 17th district is pretty large and it covers a lot of rural areas. So that is undoubtedly the biggest, it's the biggest economic driver of this area. So we're talking a lot about that. And just generally, and this may not seem like a local issue, but Judge McGraw thinks it is. The immigration issue down at the southern border. It is a local issue, he says, because everything that happens down at the southern border filters up and eventually does affect the economies of pretty much all American cities. So it's no different that it's no different in this sense, just because it's not a border community, it's not a border district. It still does, he says. It still does relate to
local people, sure. Right, all right, exactly. Alex Degman, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much. We look forward to your reporting for the rest of the evening. This is Illinois Public Media.